every major nation, every major group throughout history organizes itself along what you could call organized crime lines. The British Empire, the U.S. Empire, the German Empire, the French Empire, the Dutch Empire. I mean, we're just stating the way systems operate. And generally, most empires have been racially based or religiously based. You know, the Roman Empire was about Romans, not even so much people from Italy. What is Italy today? But the Roman city-state itself, and most people who lived in Italy, even if they were of the same bloodlines as the Roman aristocracy, they were still slaves. Then later they were all made Roman citizens, and then the Gauls and the Germans and others were made Roman citizens, and then Rome collapsed. So that's how things are based, and, you know, from a historical view and from an anthropology view, I understand it, and I see it for what it is. But I'm not going to, you know, it's one thing to have powerful elements of the Israeli lobby all over the Bush administration and to have them being, you know, some of the most energetic cheerleaders for the Patriot Act and torture and police state measures and warrantless spying. That's bad. But to now have Rahm Emanuel, whose father was one of the head terrorists that founded Israel, and Rahm Emanuel himself is in the Israeli military, Israeli intelligence, dual citizen. I mean, I'd be against having the chief of staff be British and openly have worked for the British government. I would be against Arnold Schwarzenegger being in this cabinet, which they're talking about doing. It's bad. On its face, it's wrong. On its face, it stinks to high heaven. And in Haaretz, in the Jerusalem Post, in the agency French press, these are the headlines. Obama's choice for chief of staff puts Israel's man in the White House. And that's the headline in Israel. You know, we run the White House. We've got the White House. I mean, but then as an American citizen, I'm not supposed to mention that. I'm supposed to just sit down and shut up and go along with that. Now, to add insult to injury here, I mean, do you need to have questionable birth, or, you know, have your lineage in this country be about a centimeter deep like Obama to be president now? Do you have to not be born here and say that you want to be a Hitler dictator to be a governor? Do you have to be an open, you know, Mossad officer like Chertoff or Mukasey or Rahm Emanuel? I mean, do you have to be a foreigner to run our government? I mean, it's not enough that Israeli government runs the company that does 98% of caller ID and phone tracking in the nation. That's been mainstream news. Is it not enough that Israel has the sole contract to, quote, guard the nuclear weapons? Our own government doesn't even have control of them. Is it not enough that Israel had fingerprints all over 9/11? Is it not enough that all of this is going on? But this guy, this Rahm Emanuel, and a bunch of other people they're talking about appointing now, is the anti-gunner. I mean, he's on record saying ban basically all rifles, ban assault weapons, make you turn in semi-automatic rifles, handguns, ban .308, ban .223, ban .50 cal, register all American gun owners. Handgun Control Incorporated says their plan is the abolition of private ownership of guns. They said that in an article in 1999, Attacking Me and the Statesman. They said, well, don't worry, we've got your kids. They even bragged in the local paper. They said, we have your children in the schools. And let me tell you something. I take great offense at Rahm Emanuel and the Israeli lobby coming in here and basically running the gun control lobby in this country. That's very dangerous, ladies and gentlemen, to have any foreign nation moving in and taking over the intelligence operations of this criminal government and openly pushing gun control. And that crosses the line. That crosses the line. And I have to be very careful how I approach this, though, because I am not going to feed in to tribalism. I am not going to, because if you approach this and do it in a nasty way, it actually empowers all of this race politics and religious stuff. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to state the facts, and that's why we put out about 6-7 articles by Kurt Nimmo and Paul Watson and Steve Watson in the last 48 hours exposing all of this, and we're going to do more of it. As if everything else I do isn't dangerous enough. The Republic comes first. And the Second Amendment comes first. It comes above my life and my name and my reputation. It comes first. And Rahm Emanuel is also wanting the Violent Radicalization Act passed. He's the guy trying to pass hate laws, which will restrict free speech in America. It isn't enough to come after the Second Amendment to disarm us to be good little slaves, little compliant slaves. As foreign domination of our government is flaunted in our face. But now, our First Amendment has to go. And the same groups are at the forefront pushing, censoring the web, Lieberman and everybody else, and censoring free speech. And federally, he wants a domestic MI5 with he's the author of, go back to Clinton, when it all started with the Secure Corps, part of AmeriCorps. It's Rahm Emanuel who wants the Million Stasi Tattle Brigade. I mean, he wants to restrict free speech openly. He wants to ban your guns openly. He wants a 1,000,000-person tattletale squad openly. And he is a foreign intelligence operative of a foreign nation. I mean, does the humiliation of this country get any worse? Could it be any deeper? Could it be any more humiliating? He also, in his congressional run, has got more Wall Street money than any other person running for Congress in history. This is just one of these people. And so we see moving in the defense lobby, the banking lobby, and the Israeli lobby more than ever. More than ever. The executive branch is nothing but a nozzle to suck up the wealth and the treasury of this country and offshore it. The Congress is completely ceremonial. And until we start admitting the Congress has handed over its authority, was threatened with martial law when they were getting 1,000-to-1 phone calls against the banker takeover bill, and they did it because they know they're threatened with martial law, they're threatened with the media destroying them. They are ceremonial. They have been cowed. They are afraid because they know they'll be killed, they'll be set up, they'll be destroyed. They know that. This country is now under total darkness. This nation is now completely and totally under international crime syndicate control. A consortium of wicked robber barons, black nobility, that is the old royal families of Europe, intermarried and interbred with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. I mean, go read the newspapers. It's all admitted right there. They don't even hide this stuff. And so if Agency French Press and Jerusalem Post can run headlines with Israel's man in the White House, I mean, go read it for yourself up on Infowars.com, BrisbaneBunnet.com. I would be against that, period. Having these people openly say, oh, I work for the Mossad. I mean, the Attorney General, Mukasey, the Homeland Security Director, Chertoff, his mother and father, both founders of Israel and Mossad. And he openly says, Israel first. And then we have Rahm Emanuel and all these other people, and they don't even care. They just say, yeah. Yeah, and we're going to take your guns. And you know what? The churches, the Zionist churches, the mainline Christians, the phony Christians. I'm a Christian. People misunderstood what I said yesterday. I said these phony Christians saying lay down, wait for the rapture. And FEMA and Homeland Security hiring 24,000 preachers to go around and give their flocks sermons saying turn your guns in, submit to government. And they've got the heads of major denominations on TV saying it right now. I mean, folks, this is life and death now. This government is totally bankrupt and totally criminal. And now the mindless left, who could see the police state under Bush, they're now completely blind and cheerleading Obama, the new puppet who runs nothing.